What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of One Boys, One Pup. I'm your boy, Patrick, and here's the pup, Buddy. Buddy, show me your face. Handsome. What do we got going on today? We got a deadlift day going on today. We got some deficit deadlifts, working on increasing our deadlifts so that we can deadlift over 800 pounds at the American Pro 3 coming up in November. So stick along as we go throughout our day, prep for the training through eating and other stuff. Right now, we are prepping our breakfast, which is, I'll show you guys what my breakfast is once it's done getting put together. So one of the things that I have to do for my nutrition is 2 bagels with 40 grams of honey. Now, if you look at how smoothly the honey gets out of the spigot, you can tell that it's not real honey, it's fake honey. And if you really want to know what real honey looks like, look at your mom. Alright, so what we got here, we've got 2 bagels, 3 eggs, 185 grams of beef, 2 slices of cheese, and something less than 40 grams of honey. And a coffee. Nobody tell Buddy he's not a lap dog. I got snacks in my beard. Maybe that's why he likes me. Are you a lap dog, Bud? You a lap dog? Of course you are. He's a good boy. He's making all the face bubbles today. He's getting lots of treats for being such a good boy. You a good boy, Bud? And the sky is looking a little dreary. So I hope it doesn't start raining. But it's definitely going to be raining later tonight while I'm working. So fingers crossed that it's a good night for me. Pre-training food, we've got 225 grams of Cinnamon Toast Crunch and 16 ounces of Fairlife fat-free milk. Delicious. Boom, boom, let me hear you say it's gym time. Gym time. We're on our way to the gym. Is it technically incorrect to call it the gymnasium? Because is the gymnasium a room, or what are your thoughts on the gym versus gymnasium? Are they the same thing? Can you call the gym the gymnasium if you want to be a snob? Well, what do we have today? We've got ourselves a deadlift day. What are we doing, you ask? Now, I just checked my program. I know it's an 8x2 90 seconds rest. And I know exactly why my coach said 90 seconds rest, because when he puts anything less than 90 seconds rest, I don't pay attention to the rest and I kind of just go. So we've got an 8x2. If you put 60 seconds rest, I would have gotten it done in about 6 minutes. And that's not the stimulus he wants. Or something like that. But it's a deficit deadlift at, now here's where the issue is. I put the sexy in dyslexia, right? What we've got is 8x2 90 seconds rest deficit deadlift at, I can't recall if it is 445 or 425. There's, either way, it's less than 500. So the little voice in the back of my head is saying, oh, it's gonna be an easy deadlift day. Is it? No, it's a 8x2 deficits. Deficits are heavily impacted on how much bloat you've got going on. I'm 352 today, this morning, getting close to 353. Doing, what's it taking, like 2-3 weeks to get up 1 pound? So, I mean, not too shabby, and it's a quote-unquote healthy amount of growth going on. Can you put a pound of muscle on a week? I don't know. Do I look like a scientist? Don't answer that. I look like a hot, sexy man, a very desirable, masculine human that your mom wants to sleep with because she likes hot, sexy men, and I'm one of them. So, let's talk about something off subject for a second, right? Your body can't tell the difference between mental, physical, and emotional stress, right? A couple months ago, I was informed, so I lost my job right before the Ghost Clash 3, and I've been doing Uber Eats, which is not a W-4 job. I think it's like an I-9 job, where technically I'm a contractor, so they don't take taxes out, so I'm gonna be kind of screwed. I'm gonna owe taxes at the end of the year, which is gonna suck, but it is what it is. And it doesn't provide benefits. And my roommate told me, hey, I'm gonna put you on my health insurance. Lo and behold, They did not. So I requiring some prescriptions to stay mellowed out. By mellowed out, I mean out of the hospital for mental illness things. Went to pick up a prescription for that, and they're like, this is $300. I was like, I cannot afford that. Cool. And my doctor was like, you need a doctor's appointment before we can try to re-prescribe anything. And I was like, I cannot afford that. Cool. So about a month and a half ago, was it a month and a half? I ran out of my prescription for mental health, antipsychotics specifically. So I'm struggling a little bit mentally when it comes to everyday things. If you have any sort of mental illness, you will understand the concept of an impossible task. And right now, there's a lot of impossible tasks. There's a lot of dopamine mining going on because I do not have serotonin in my system adequate enough to operate as a regular human. So we have to, I'm not, it's not high functioning, but when my upbringing got me to a point where I was, if I'm standing still, I'm losing, basically. Where if I'm not doing something productive, I am falling behind. That's what I was taught growing up. My coach has been like, stop doing extra things. Just doing extra things in the gym does not generally mean that you're doing better. Hard work is sometimes taking a step back and relaxing. Some of the hardest things that you can do are not lifting really heavy. The hardest thing about being successful in powerlifting is everything outside of the gym. Making sure you go to sleep and sleep enough. Making sure that you eat enough. Making sure you're eating the right things, because let's be honest, the majority of powerlifters, with the exception of the current high-level powerlifters, have the diet that resembles an unaccompanied minor at a birthday party, where it's the meme of powerlifters eating tasty cakes and gummies in between every set, where we literally only do that at the top level on meet day. That meme has become a reality for a lot of powerlifters, and it's giving powerlifting a bad rep. So you got to make sure you're eating the right things, which basically looks like whatever a bodybuilder's eating, but more. So that, and making sure you are responding to life stressors in an adequate and appropriate manner. And that could be, one of the roads is closed on the way to the gym, so I have to find a way around it. So relationship stress, work stress, financial stress, food stress, living situation stress, anything that you can throw the word stress on is something that you need to be an adult and deal with. So, is that a gym? The guy in front of me has a sticker for a gym, but I don't recognize the gym logo. Weird. So, this being said, at the top level, every single powerlifter are at least on the spectrum pretty far, because like we don't really, it's almost like we kind of push ourselves to the point of, you know what, I've eaten the same thing for dinner the past 4 weeks. I don't really care anymore. I just want to go, I want to lift, and I'll go home and play RuneScape for 8 hours, and then go to sleep for 8 hours, and then go to work and eat, and just the repetition gets me feeling good. So me, I've been off my meds, and it takes about 30 days for you to come off of any sort of antipsychotic medication. My sleep quality has gone down, because what when I first started my medication, I was suffering from somnophobia and nighttime panic attacks. Anytime that I was getting ready to go to sleep, I would have a panic attack because I snore so much. You stop breathing when you're snoring, so that would happen so frequently that I was convinced that I wouldn't wake up whenever I went to sleep, so I would put off going to sleep. And I that nighttime anxiety has come back for me, and I'm not sleeping as well. And also the general things that come with me being me, where it's like the part of the spectrum I'm on is less of the third dimension of ADHD, and it's more of the other side of that being OCD. So let's talk about how that affects me as a successful lifter. And what it really boils down to are, what are your bare minimums? What is your bare minimum thing that you have to do every single day? For most people, waking up and going back to sleep in the same spot is their bare minimum. They don't have to drink a bunch of water. They don't have to they don't have to follow a certain diet. The average Joe person doesn't have a lot of bare minimum. But being a powerlifter, my bare minimums are, I have to get 10,000 steps a day. I have to drink at least a gallon of water a day on top of whatever other liquids I consume a day. So if I'm drinking a protein shake, that doesn't count towards my water goal. I have to drink a full gallon. So I end up drinking about a gallon and a half worth of liquid so that I'm hydrated. I have to take all of my nighttime natty supplements, so like my Tudka, my Hemoflow, my selenium, B12, lion's mane, D3K2, magnesium, zinc, fish oil, collagen, vitamin C, IRE, I don't think I'm forgetting any, turmeric, stuff like that. Those are on my bare minimum. So waking up at an acceptable time so that I can go to the gym, get 10,000 steps in a day, follow my meal plan to an extent. If I have to fall back on my plan B, I still have to make sure I eat enough. Oh, that's why there's a marathon today. I see people with the belly placards. You know, powerlifting is cooler than marathon runs because at least I don't obstruct traffic with my squats. Runners are a plague on society. So next time you see someone prepping for a marathon, shun them because they're like mosquitoes. We don't like them. So what are my bare minimums right now? And right now I have to take a step back because my usual bare minimums are make my bed, read an hour a day, write an hour a day. When I'm feeling good, when I'm in touch, when I'm on my meds at an appropriate level, I have to fill my day, fill my time with a lot of things that I consider productive. Like I have to learn something new every day. But right now, I'm not able to do a lot of those things. I can make my bed every day. I still do that. I do my bare minimums. I get my 10,000 steps a day, most days. If I'm working 14 hours doing Uber Eats, I might not hit that 10,000 steps, and that makes me feel awful, and it makes me feel bad and like I'm very lazy. I still get like 6,000 to 8,000 steps, but yeah. And if I miss a meal, I feel bad about that. And if I miss multiple meals, I get on an edge of breaking down. So my bare minimums have had to take a step back. I'm not able to read for an hour a day because I'm on that grind. The more time that I am not in my car working, the less money I make. I make much less money doing Uber Eats than I have in the past doing regular W4 work. Every single job I've had, I've made more money doing than this. This is just me trying to stay afloat. I have gotten a new job. I'm just waiting for my start date. I've signed all the you're hired paperwork. I'm just waiting for my start date so I can start working and start earning my paycheck so that I'll stop working 50 to 60 hours a week and I'll be working 40 hours a week, and I'll actually be doing something productive and something that'll make me feel good that I'm using my degree for. So my bare minimums basically wake up, go to the gym, 10,000 steps, water, food, money. And that money part is the stressful part because they kind of think about things in 2-day almost like blocks because we're powerlifters, right? Block periodization and stuff like that. What you do one day affects what you do the next day. So if you stay out way too late on one day, so let's say you're having a good streak and you end up working 14 hours a day, you end up going to bed at like 3 a.m. You need 8 hours of sleep. You're waking up at 11, maybe 12. And then you're already a couple of hours behind because you took that extra time on a previous day to affect your next day. And then you're overwhelmed, you're burning yourself out. And I was watching Wild Mudkip, a old school RuneScape YouTube content creator and Twitch streamer, and he says he talks about efficient playtime. He's like, it is more efficient to be more relaxed and inefficient than it is to be optimal efficient. What are you doing? some guy was out of stater, was trying to make an illegal right turn right next to me. It is more optimal to be inefficient and relaxed and enjoy it than it is to be more efficient and burn yourself out, because you end up playing longer, you end up doing things longer. So I have to take a step back and recognize what my bare minimums are. And am I going to be able to write every single day? I want to. I really want to share the book that I've been writing with you guys, but I know that I'm not going to get that officially published, so I'm going to have to record the audiobook, which I have to do personally and post it onto another channel and kind of build up that like that. But every 1 hour of that is 4 hours of time. Every hour of audiobook takes about 4 hours to create, just for reference. So when you are an audiobook addict like me, you see an audiobook that's 40 hours and you're like, wow, guy worked on this for a whole week. Nah, that was 4 weeks long. That was a whole month worth of audiobook narration going on. So I've got a lot of things on my plate that I want to do, and it brings me back to a saying that my dad says my grandpa used to say all the time, where it's, you've got shit in one hand, want in the other, which one piles up faster? And I think that's about it's like the older I get, the more I think about it, the more I don't think it's just the things that you want pile up, but the shit you have. And a lot of the times you get things that you want and it's just shit. So like when you were a kid, you wanted the best toy. Now that you're an adult, some of those toys are just kind of just shit around the house that are taking up room that you don't necessarily need. You want the specific leggings that are on the TikTok shop. That two months from now, that's just going to be shit that's taking up room in your closet. So stuff like that piles up. Now I want to live a Spartan lifestyle where I've got bare minimum expenses, bare minimum necessities, interactions, things that bare minimum indulgences. Is that entire road taken up? Gee willikers. Marathons, oh my goodness. Marathons are mosquitoes. Yeah. I've been ranting for 18 minutes at this point. Basically to say, I don't know what I'm saying. I think I was just venting. Am I a girl now? Is this what it's like to be a girl? Where I talk for 20 minutes and say nothing? Huh. Well, I forgot what I've been talking about, but what is your bare minimums? It's very helpful to write down what your bare minimums are, because otherwise you're juggling. You don't know how many balls you have. Once you put pen to paper, pencil to paper, permanent marker to whiteboard, of course you gotta draw a dick first, of course. But when you have goals or bare minimums or things like that, you're going to be overwhelmed trying to achieve that unless you put pen to paper, because you're juggling chainsaws. And until you put pen to paper, until you actually outline what is going to be going on, you won't know how many chainsaws you got in the air. You won't know how many balls you're juggling. So do yourself a favor, write it down or write it in the comments or whatever. What are your bare minimums? And then what are the bonus things? Because once you get those bare minimums under your belt and they don't become bare minimums, they become daily habits, then you can start to add things in, start to accessorize. So once I have myself under control, where I'm in a good base, where I can actually do the bare minimums on a consistent basis, I am doing the bare minimums, but I'm at a point where the bare minimums are still overwhelming me because I'm mentally unwell. Once I get to a point where the bare minimums are habitual, then I can start adding in, okay, maybe 10 pages of reading a day. Maybe I throw in, maybe I start learning one new thing a day again. Maybe I start reading one thing a day again. Start writing one thing a day again. Right now, I'm writing whenever I have a lot of downtime while I'm doing Uber Eats. So I've been working on the same chapter, given it's the longest chapter in the book at this point, for about 3 weeks. Not very optimal. It's not even done, and I haven't even edited it. And actually, I've been working on it since before the Ghost Clash, because I wrote the first paragraph at Joe Sullivan's dinner table when I was trying to do interviews out in Vegas for a job out there that I didn't get. But anyways, I'm stuck in traffic. It usually takes me 8 minutes to get to the gym, so you guys had to suffer through me ranting for 21 minutes. while I stuck in traffic, bumper to bumper traffic, because fucking marathons closed down all the fucking roads to get anywhere in this fucking city. Anyways, boys, hey, those are some big titty golf GFs. No, I'm not gonna. I could have flipped my camera to show you guys, but that might be creepy. That would probably be creepy. Anyways, I'm gonna listen to music and audiobooks and whatever until I get to the gym. I am like 10 blocks in the wrong direction if I'm trying to get to the gym right now because of this damn marathon. So, or is that a 5K? I don't know. I'm just trying to get to the gym and do my bare minimums, and they're making it more difficult. I wanted to be at the gym 3 hours ago. Yeah, I'm not. I am unwell. Loaded, boys. Polish my scrotum and call me magical. We had a deadlift day today. So, we made up for it taking 45 minutes instead of 8 minutes to get to the gym. So we had a lot of pent-up frustration and pain and agony of the mental and emotional kind, because the city decided to shut down the main strip, Elm Street, which made traversing very difficult. So we started off the day with our activation work, pre-fatigue work, warm-up, whatever you want to call it. We had thoracic spine extended chest supported dumbbell rows. We did the 55s because the weight doesn't really matter as long as we get blood flow to the lats and we get the thoracic spine extension all nice and queued up, get that squeeze in a nice location. We're good. So we did that. We had 3 sets of, I believe it was 12, 90 seconds rest with the 55s. Then, boys, it was time to deadlift. Now, deadlifts normally, so I got programmed 90 seconds of rest, right? And we had 445. I used kilo plates, so we loaded up 446 because, you know, of course, I had to. So the bar I'm using, the Kabuki deadlift bar, is much whippier. It's a little softer. It's got more aggressive knurl, so it bends more and it's easier to hold on to, allegedly. And if you go to a gym with a lot of teenage or college kid lifters, all of them and their mothers would like to use the Kabuki bar given the opportunity. However, not all of them will use it correctly. So the way that the Kabuki bar is in the gym should be how it is on the platform. You got to use kilo plates with it because it's got that added amount of whip. If you disperse the load on it further out by means of using pound plates, there's going to be more and more whip and an unrealistic amount of whip on the bar, and it's going to be detrimental to your deadlift. So homie came in and he was like, I'm going to deadlift today. And I'm like, I too am deadlifting today. Would you like to work in with me? And I pointed out I was using kilo plates. He said, no, thank you. I'll wait for you to be done. So I had that added pressure of someone waiting for me to be done with the deadlift. So instead of doing 90 seconds rest, I did 60 seconds rest. So we sped up our deadlifts a little more and we got done in about 10 minutes. So our first warm up of the day was a 1x10. Now, the way that I warm up my deadlift is I do 2 plate jumps, but I don't actually need to warm up for a 445 deadlift because it's so light. So I knew I had to do something to warm up and I couldn't just bite the pillow and go in raw. So we did 1 red, which is 155, I believe, or something like that. 155, 165. I don't know. It's 1 red. I've never actually had to think about what's on the bar with that amount of platage on there. But 1 red for a set of 10. And it's deficit, so we did it with the deficit. And then we were all warmed up. We were sweating, blood was flowing. That's all we needed because we don't need to prime our CNS for the load. So first set, we had an 8x3. I'd been saying all day it's an 8x2. I double checked, and as you recall earlier, I do put the sexy in dyslexia. So I double checked, it was an 8x3. So I changed the rest period from 90 seconds to 60 seconds so that the homie waiting behind me who wanted to use the kabuki bar with pound plates wasn't waiting too long on me, because I had 8 sets, and 8 sets for 90 seconds rest, not even including the amount of time that I'm actually lifting and setting up, is 8 times plus a half, so 12 minutes. So it would have taken 15 to 20 minutes to actually deadlift. So I actually did, So 8x3. I do not recall any of the feelings or what was going on in my head when I was doing this. All I know is at the lockout, it was so snappy, the bar whipped up, which means the load is so light that I'm able to pull through beyond the pull of gravity. I mean, you always want to pull beyond the pull of gravity, but the acceleration was a significant difference between the pull of gravity on 446 pounds, which means I could have been pulling at maybe 600 pounds for triples, but just based on the speed, force equals mass times acceleration. Nerds can figure that out, or I can actually publish the book that I've been writing on powerlifting, and it'll explain all that there. So we had an upward whip at the top, and it's good. That's a really good thing. If you want to look at one of the best deadlifters of all time, Eric Lillibridge, every single one of his warm-ups has a whip at the top. It whips up because he's pulling so fast and aggressively. So I wasn't really thinking what was going on in my head while I was deadlifting. I was just focused on getting through, making sure that everything was good as possible, which means everything that I was doing with my body was muscle memory. I basically went Ultra Instinct Goku with the deadlifts today. And lo and behold, it worked out pretty good. Sets 1 through 8 all felt good. The only time that something didn't feel good was when I was done deadlifting. After I pulled the 8th set of 3, the homie was like, all right, we're done. You want to strip the bar? Do you want to wait a second? I was like, nah, I don't want to be a bar hog. I want to make sure that, like, the gym is a very accepting and open public space. I want people to feel comfortable and welcome whenever they're at the gym. So I don't want to be a bar hog. If anyone's ever waiting on something for me, I speed up. If they don't, then I might take my time. But the only time that I had anything that didn't feel super good was when I was stripping the bar. I took my belt off and I immediately got a lower back pump, which probably isn't very good. But I sent my coach all the videos, and he was like, damn, that's a lot of work you did there. And I'm like, coach, you literally programmed all the work that I did. He was like, yeah, but I didn't program 60-second rest. And I was like, oh, okay, fine. He was like, that's actually better than what I intended. So cool, good job. Extra points for you. You did everything that I wanted you to do, and you did it better. I'm like, victory in the court of Patrick. And then normally what happens after deadlifts is I've got these prone leg or adductions, leg adduction, hip band around ankle, pull apart thing, make my booty look nice and voluptuous. And I superset that with goblet squats. Now, I noticed something today, that the dumbbell that I use for goblet squats is the same one that I use for the last movement that I have for the day, which is calf raises. So I set up the goblet squat and the prone hip adductions, and I set it up near the monolift, which is what I use to do my calf extensions. I just put my foot up on one of the jettisons there, the stabilizers, the legs of the monolift, and I do my calf raises there. I need new Crocs because the bottom of my Croc is dying, and so there's a little bit of slippage going on there, but my new Crocs are in the mail, and I'm super excited for them because they're like adult Crocs. Not to say that my Pokemon Crocs aren't adult Crocs, but like I'm not allowed to wear them when I start my new job. So I decided to do a giant set between all 3 of them because I can, and it would have gotten me out of the gym faster. So we finished up. That was good. And then on my meal plan, my last meal of the day on deadlift day is a free meal. So I'm allowed to have, it's no macros, no, you have to eat this, you have to order that. Free meal, deflux meal, cheat meal, refeed meal, whatever you want to call it. It's a free meal. It's like a hall pass on the diet. So I went to, in my area, so I do Uber Eats, right? So I go to a lot of restaurants, and I decided to use the stereotype of what the best Chinese food place is. There's two determinators as to what is going to what guarantees you delicious Chinese food, because that's the food I decided to have. There's two restaurants that I deliver from in my area, where one of them has it's got bulletproof glass, but they've got a table with all the kids' toys out there. So a little weird thinking there that they have bulletproof glass for the kitchen, but the kid can just play out in the open. And the other one, they have the cashier. They got rid of all the tables and chairs, and they just let the kids play behind there. And you can watch the kids, or that sounded creepy. You can see the kids watching Pokemon in the area between, there's a little hallway between the register and the kitchen. You can see the kids watching Pokemon or whatever they're watching. So I was like, the stereotype is the younger the person at the cashier, the better the Chinese food is. And one of the times, the older of the kids, who's probably 12 or 13, handed me my Uber Eats, and I was like, this place probably has fantastic food. So I ordered it a couple weeks ago. The absolute best Chinese food I've ever had. Better than hibachi. Is that racist? Because hibachi is Japanese. I don't know. It's a Japanese steakhouse. But it's the best Oriental food I have had in a long, long time. The other place, it was really good, but the kids weren't taking my order, so I was like, maybe there's something better. But those two places, it's about 9 p.m. right now. Those two places, if you think about it, the kids have school in the morning, they have an early bedtime, so the restaurants close earlier than the other Chinese food restaurants. But they're the best ones in the region, so they can close earlier, and they're not going to lose a lot of business, because the people who want good Chinese food are going to come to them regardless. They're going to come earlier. They're going to plan their day around it, so they can get away with that. The other determinator of the other stereotype of are you going to get good Chinese food is every single one of these just sounds super racist, but it's I had a teacher my junior year of high school who said stereotypes have to come from somewhere. So you have to listen to the stereotypes and find the grain of truth in what they are. So everyone, or the place I went to tonight, because it's after the other two are closed, I haven't been to before, but I've ordered or I've delivered from them, and their food smells really good. The place it's very old school. They have a Pac-Man machine, and they've got a CRT behind the register where the owners are just watching Netflix sometimes, and the owners are super old. And the building is almost decrepit, and it feels like it's falling apart, so it's old and used. So, the woks that they're using are going to have really good wok hay. They've been around for a while, and when I called them, I couldn't understand anything that they said, and I just hoped that they got my order. That, I was like, yes. Even if they get my order wrong, I know the Chinese food that I'm getting is going to be absolutely delicious. So, I got the Chinese food in my hot bag in the trunk of my car. It's super rainy outside, and I'm going to go eat my dinner. And I will let you guys know, how good is this? Is it mature Chinese food? I don't know. But it's going to be delicious. I know it. I got sesame chicken and crab rangoon, because there's very few things that what would I do for a Klondike bar? Not much. What would I do for crab rangoon? a lot. There's probably more things that there are probably less things I wouldn't do for crab rangoon. They're just that good. So I've been ranting at you guys for 14 minutes at this point about how my training went and how this post-training expedition is going. So I'm gonna go eat, and this is gonna be a super long video, and I do not apologize for that. I am the voice of reason in the inside of your head. I'm the voice who's gonna give you either super off the wall things or super inspirational things while you're folding your laundry, while you're doing your dishes. That's the type of content I create for you guys. So if you're falling asleep and you're listening to me, just know that Papa's proud of you, and Papa's gonna go ham on some Chinese food, like he went ham on your mom last night. She liked it. Well, of course she liked it. It's Papa. I'm gonna stop talking now. All right, we got the spread and a cat apparently. So we've got the sesame chicken. This is a hefty, probably like, I don't want to say 5 pounds, but it feels like 5 pounds. We got the sauce, and we got the crab rangoon. Now, first impressions of the crab rangoon. They're a little small. I don't like these corner. Yeah, it's kind of small. I don't like these, like, these are folded differently than usual. But you know when they like pinch the corners in, and it's like you only get the crab rangoon filling in the middle? I don't like that as much as the triangles. So it's also harder to get it all in your mouth when it's like that. But I'll see how these round folds are. All right. First impressions of the crab rangoon. The folding makes them bite size, so I like that. It's got a little bit of the flour left on it. Could do without that, but it's fried perfectly, and it's not skimping on. Oh, you can see all the way through. It's not skimping on the crab rangoon filling, so I'd give it probably a 7 out of 10. 7.5. It's pretty good. This will be my second option, I think, going forward. All right, so we got the sesame chicken. First impression, the sauce is. I'm switching my chopsticks. The sauce does run down on the chicken a little bit, so like it pools at the bottom. So it's not like the top pieces don't have a lot of sauce on them because it's pooled at the bottom and it's kind of soaked into the breading a little bit. So that's not super cool. But if you build out a little moat and you get the sauce and you dip it in there, then it's really good. So I'd probably give this like a 6 out of 10. It's not super good. I've had better sesame chicken, but it's not bad either. And yes, I do have my own chopsticks. I feel like once I finally am financially able to be financially irresponsible, I'm going to start collecting different chopsticks because I like to flex on people. Oh. Ooh. Alright, and I thought that my landlords would have some sort of dessert. They didn't, so I don't get dessert tonight. So I'm heading off to bed. Join me for the next one. See you guys later.